All right, so let's go over part two for buying the $1.4 million house. I know I left you hanging in the last video, but even customers coming into the shop, they're asking when is part two. So here you go. If you have not watched part one, go ahead and watch it. Lots of information is in part one, but I'm going to try to summarize what went on in part one. I'm in the market for buying a house. I know it's not a buyer's market, it's a seller's market. The market may crash at any time, but let me tell you the story. I live in Northridge. I was looking for homes in Northridge, Granada Hills, Chatsworth, and Porter Ranch. I looked at over 30, 40 homes, and I could not find anything that I really liked. Ups and downs in every house. But I did find one in Porter Ranch that I absolutely fell in love with. Fully renovated, big house, big lot, swimming pool. I mean, everything about the house I just loved. I told my wife, we looked at a lot of homes. If we miss that house, we're not going to find anything that we're going to love more than this house. So why not call the agent and put an offer on it? Even though it's a seller's market, but deep down I knew if we lost it, I'm not going to be able to find anything like it. So I called my agent and I told him I want to put a $1.2 million offer on the house. The house is listed for $1.4 million, but I want to put a $1.2 million offer. I mean, I'm afraid that the market may crash soon, and I do not want to end up losing a lot of money on the house. If I lost a lot of money, it's okay, but at least I found the house that I liked, that I love. So my agent told me for 1.2, you're going to have a little chance for buying that house. There's a shortage on houses in the market, low inventory, and there's a high demand. So 1.2 is not going to do it. People are overbidding to buy a house. I told him it's all right, just put 1.2 and we'll see how it goes. So he sent me the offer, I signed it, I sent it back to him, and a few hours later, the agent called and he said the house, somebody made a full offer on the house for $1.4 million. You're not going to get that house. We can look at something else. And I was disappointed. I really wanted that house and I loved the house, but at the same time, 1.4 was above my budget. I did not want to pay 1.4, knowing that the market can crash. I felt like 1.2 is a fair and decent price for that house, but we lost the house. And I told my wife, we lost it. What can we do? We need to look at something else. During that week, we kept looking for homes and we looked at over 30 homes. Every time we look at a house, we end up comparing that house to the one that we lost. The one that we lost had a better kitchen. The one that we lost had a more open concept. It had a bigger lot. The house was bigger. Everything about that house was better than all the homes that we looked at throughout the week. So I told her we're going to keep looking. And 6 days later, or maybe 7 days later, the agent called me and he said, I have good news for you. The house is back on the market. The one that we lost is back on the market. So I asked my agent, why did the buyer bail out? I want to know why the buyer left. Is there anything wrong with the house? And so my agent called the seller's agent and we were told that the buyer did not fill certain applications on time and he never put any money in escrow, and that's why the house is back in the market. We also know that the seller bought a house in Texas and the seller is moving to Texas and they are in the process of closing escrow, so they really need to sell this house. So I told my agent, that's great news. Let's stick to our $1.2 million offer, and we're not going to go one penny over 1.2 million. Just call the agent, the seller's agent, and tell him that we are firm on 1.2. If they want, we can put the offer. So my agent called the seller's agent, and the seller's agent told him that we're not taking anything below 1.325. Now, we do not know if there was really a buyer on the house or if it's a trick they are playing on us to get us to put as much money as we can. But either way, I told my agent 1.325 is not going to work out. Stick to 1.2. Just be firm with the agent and tell him that we are not doing anything more than 1.2. So they got back to us and they told us the seller is not going to take anything below 1.25. 1,250,000. They're not going to take anything more, anything less. And if our offer is less than 1.25, then do not even bother. I told my agent, I think we hit rock bottom. Let's do 1.25 and tell me what happened. So he sent me the offer. I signed it. He submitted the offer and he got a counter offer. And I told my agent, counter offer, I'm not doing anything more than 1.25. If the seller wants $1 more, I'm not doing it. I will lose the house and I'm not going to pay more than 1.25. He said, no, the counter offer is not about the price, but it's about something else. I said, what is it? He said, number one, you have to be committed to the house. You cannot bail out. If you bail out, you have to pay a penalty. And number two, even if you cannot get a loan, you are still committed to buying that house no matter what. I told them, what do you mean if I cannot get a loan, we are still committed? What are they going to do if we cannot get a loan for whatever reason? I can get a loan, but just imagine I cannot get a loan. What's going to happen? He said the 3% deposit that you're going to put in escrow, you're going to lose that. Because in the contract, it says that I cannot bail out. So I said, no, we're not going to agree on those counter offers. Take them out. And if they do not want to take them out, then I do not want to buy the house. What if something is wrong with the house? I cannot bail out without paying a penalty? No, I'm not that desperate. Take it out. So my agent called the seller's agent and he said that we want to take those out. We do not want to be committed. And for whatever reason, we cannot get the loan or the loan is not approved. We are not committed and we're not going to pay any penalty. So the seller's agent, he agreed. He said, okay, we're going to take him out. And my agent called me and he said, great news. They agreed to our offer and congratulations. So we did it. We did it. I signed a lot of applications, a lot of forms. And now all we have to do is get an inspector to check the house, make sure everything is good. And we should be in the house within 28, 29 days, 30 days maximum. And I'm happy. I'm happy. My wife is happy. The kids are happy. We did it. After all that search, we got something that we really loved. Now, I want to go over some comments that we got in part one. Comments were of three types. A lot of people were congratulating me for buying the house. You deserve it. You work hard. And I appreciate every single one of you who wrote a positive comment, except for those 0.01% who complained, why are you uploading a real estate video on a repair channel, unsubscribing? Just go. We do not need you on this channel. But for the most part, people congratulating me for the house. You deserve it. You work hard. And I truly appreciate every single one of you. Everybody who posted a positive comment. I read every single comment. And I just cannot put a love on every single comment. If you do not see a love on your comment and you see that I put a love on somebody else's comment, it's not personal. And I just cannot do it on every single comment. And another thing I noticed in comments were, why California? Why buy such an expensive house in California? You can get a lot more for your money if you go outside of California or even outside the country. The reason I want to buy in California is because my business is established in California and my family are in California. I'd rather be next to family than buy a mansion somewhere else away from family. That's the way I am. I'm a family person. So I do not want to go outside of California and I do not want to go outside the country. And the other thing is, why buy now? It's a seller's market and not a buyer's market. The market is going to crash soon and you're going to lose half the price of the house, which is a very valid point. I thought a lot about this, but I just committed to that house because I love it. I thought if I'm going to lose the house now, I'm not going to find anything like it, and I love everything about the house. So even if I lose a little bit of money, I already got it $150,000 off. So if I do lose money on the house, it may not be by much, but deep down, I'm scared. Maybe the market is going to crash like it crashed in 2008. The $1 million house went down to $500,000. And I do not want to have to lose a lot of money on this house. But since we cannot read the future, I just said, let's do it. Let's do it. But I'm scared. Honestly, I'm scared. I do not want to lie to you. The other thing I read in comments where a lot of people were inspired with the video, with part one. Hard work pays off. Very true. I started with $11,000 and now I'm looking to buy a $1.4 million house. Hard work. Nothing but hard work. I did mention in part one, I was not born rich. I did not inherit money from anybody. And I just worked hard for the money. All right. So inspection. The agent called me. He said, what's going on with the inspector? Did you find an inspector? I did find an inspector and the inspector already inspected the house. But I do not want to go over it now because 7:30 right now. I'm doing those videos late and inspection is a whole different thing. So we're going to leave inspection until part 3 and I'll tell you what happened in part 3. That's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, leave a comment if you have any questions, and we'll do something else in part 3. We're going to talk about inspection.